There's a big overhaul rumored to be coming to Modern Warfare. If this overhaul is in fact coming, what are the things that should be changed, in my opinion, of course? Let's talk about those coming up in this video. So first things first. This big overhaul is currently only a rumor, so what do we do with rumors? We take them with a pinch of salt, of course. So this rumor is once again coming from the Gaming Revolution's Twitter, who, if you don't know by now, is basically our main source when it comes to all these big Modern Warfare leaks. And a few days ago he did tweet that a big overhaul is apparently coming to the game. So again, none of this is confirmed in any way, shape or form, but for the sake of this video, we'll just pretend that, yeah, this overhaul is coming. And when is this overhaul happening? Well, the rumored time frame is by the end of November, but of course we don't know exactly. The most important thing is this though, it should happen ASAP. Honestly, as soon as possible. Because the thing that I'm afraid of is that this current meta we have in the game right now, which is just overall slow gameplay, a lot of camping, a lot of claymores and stuff like that, and just no one really moving. I'm afraid that if we have this overall meta for too long, that this is just gonna stick with the players, and even if the game does get improved, players might just not switch up their playstyle and just stick to whatever they're used to right now. So with this overhaul, I think the most important thing is to just completely counter this current meta that we have. So how do we do it? Well, the first thing that I would touch, and that is actually being touched and improved on right now, that's footsteps. Footsteps at this point, and by the time this video goes live, maybe they've even done more improvements to the footsteps, but at this point, footsteps are just way too loud. And you can hear players coming from a mile away, which is just completely ridiculous. That is just hurting the overall game experience, because if you can hear players almost across the map, then players are just gonna take the safest route to get this kill, which is wait and pre-aim and shoot whenever this guy you heard is coming around the corner. It's pretty understandable, but that's gotta change. So my suggestion is make footsteps quieter, make the range at which you can hear those footsteps a lot shorter, and hopefully that's gonna improve things. The next point I kind of want to add to that, which is the minimap. At least the minimap in its current form. If you don't know, in this game we got a new kind of minimap where you don't show up on the minimap when firing your gun, which usually you did. And that just needs to go back to the old minimap. Because if people once again show up when firing their gun, well then people might actually start actively engaging in their gunfights and not just to wait for people to basically show up in their sights. When you are being shot at, you basically have no idea where those shots come from. And what doesn't help the situation at all is that the ghost perk is once again back to its, let's call it, prime form, because you are always protected from UAVs. Not just when moving, which is basically the balanced form of Ghost that we had in these last few games. No, you are always protected, even when you're sitting in a corner, which, in my opinion, is another thing that should be changed. And what might help the Ghost perk situation, which is why I kind of tied this and the footstep thing together, is maybe making Dead Silence a perk in tier 2. So that way you could make players choose between a Dead Silence, which would then be kind of a crutch perk, and Ghost, which is at this point basically a crutch perk. Maybe that would help the entire camping problem out. Next, let's talk about time to kill. Time to kill in this game is fast. For my taste, actually a bit too fast, but since I want to stay pretty realistic with the suggestions that I make, reworking the entire like damage system or damage value model, that is just not realistic. So to help the time to kill situation, what I would do or what I would suggest is maybe look at the headshot multipliers you have in game. Because in my opinion, really bad situations are when people are landing headshots. And those are the situations where, well, it seems like you're basically getting dropped instantly. So instead of changing the entire health or damage values, maybe tone down the headshot multipliers a little bit. Don't completely remove them. I do want headshots, or I do want to get rewarded for headshots. Just maybe tone them down a little bit so you're not getting demolished instantly. Also, what kind of ties into the entire time to kill thing are connections. Connections at this point are not great. It might be different for a lot of people, but in my experience, I'm just getting insane ping values that are completely ridiculous, considering how many people or how many players are playing this game. I'm most of the time left wondering why I'm getting into these lobbies when there obviously have to be lobbies with better connections for me. And obviously having a fast time to kill and, let's say, not optimal connections, well, those two things don't really mix well together at all. And I'm sure that they're working on the connections. I'm sure it's basically a thing that's in progress and it's gonna improve over time. And it's not gonna be the thing that they're just gonna throw out one time with this big overhaul. I just want the developers or whoever to be aware of this, that this certainly has to be improved. Next up is probably the most interesting point on this list, and that's the maps. So I'll be perfectly honest, I don't enjoy the maps that we have right now. Some of them I do enjoy, but the majority of the maps I honestly dislike. I understand that they wanted to get rid of the standard basic 3-lane design and wanted to make kind of, I guess, more realistic maps, more reality-based maps. But the way these maps are, they just don't work, at least not for me. And expecting all of these maps to be completely reworked is, in my opinion, completely unrealistic. That is not gonna happen. What might be slightly more realistic to ask for is to maybe improve certain locations of the maps. What I mean by that is to maybe close certain windows, close certain doorways so you can't get shot from like 15 different directions, and to just help the maps flow a little bit better. So maybe close some windows, maybe close some doors, maybe add some cover in certain streets, like I'm thinking of Grozna Raid, for example, where you basically can't cross this one street without getting melted by someone head glitching. And when I mean adding cover, I don't mean adding head glitches, just cover. And that's another thing actually. Maybe remove some of the head glitches or make the head glitches just cover. You can't look over and head glitch. Yeah, again, just something I just randomly thought of right now, but I think that would help too. Certainly let me know in the comment section down below what you think about that and what you think how we could improve the certain map situation that we have right now. And considering all the League DLC maps that we have right now, maybe just throw in a bunch of old school map remix in right now. I know they probably want to give them away piece by piece, kind of stretched out during the year, but maybe considering the state the game and the community is in right now, maybe just throw in a bunch of them right now so we can get some positivity in right now, because I think the dominating feeling in the community right now is kind of salty and kind of not so fun, let's say. One of the final points I want to mention, since I don't want to make this video terribly long, are spawns. Spawns are terrible. I'll be blatantly honest, they're not good. I think considering how big the maps are, or how big a lot of the maps are, they have to add more spawn points, like desperately. It is so insanely frustrating in basically every mode to die in, let's say, the middle of the map and then spawning all the way back and having to run a freaking marathon just to get back in the action, and then only to then get taken out by another heck glitcher or a camper or a claymore, and then spawn back at the very end of the map and having to run a marathon back. And yeah, you get the point, right? It's frustrating. It's not a fun experience at all. I'm sure now with all the data that they have, they're analyzing stuff. They're currently working on the spawns 100%. I'm sure. Again, I just had to mention that it's probably one of the most frustrating things in this game completely. And since we're talking Overhaul, what I think would help the game massively is to just punish movement less, because the way the game plays right now, if you are rushing, sprinting, running around, you are punished way too heavily for that. Of course, it should be that someone who's posted up should probably have the upper hand against someone who's running towards him sprinting, but the punishment is just way too big for this kind of stuff. So maybe make the ADS times a little bit shorter. I don't know how those compare to other games or these last few Call of Duty games we had. Or maybe make the sprint out times a little less, but something needs to happen here as well, so movement can be a viable tactic as well. This last point is probably pretty obvious, and it's probably getting worked on right now, but I still want to mention that, just for the sake of it, weapon balance. Yeah, I guess at this point it's no secret that the 725 shotgun and the M4A1 AR are kind of outclassing everything else, and I don't want these things to just get stomped in the ground. Yeah, just kind of bring them down so they're on par with all the other guns, and yeah, then this game should actually be fine. And the one thing I do want to stress so very much is that I don't hate this game. I think, and a lot of people are saying this as well, this game has so much potential. There is so much potential there. It's just a few fixes, a few tweaks away from being a great game. Like this new engine, it's fantastic. The game looks great, it feels great, it has all that going for it. The game just desperately needs some adjustments to make it feel like Call of Duty again. Some adjustments to just get players moving, and then if those things are in place, I think we should be in for a pretty good year. And I'm excited for the year of Call of Duty that is upon us. With that said, I want to bring this video to a close. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, then please show me by giving the video a like as well. I would appreciate it very much. It would absolutely make my day. And down in the description, you will find links to my socials, that is Twitter and Instagram. So if you want to catch me outside of YouTube, then that's where you can find me. Please go ahead and follow me. I of course try to build kind of a following over there as well, not just on YouTube. Some other videos of mine will of course pop up on the screen as well. If you're interested in more Call of Duty Modern Warfare content, just like this one, then please consider subscribing. It's free, it would absolutely make me happy. Let's build this channel. I don't have anything else to say. Thank you very much for watching again. I've been Mario, and I will see you soon.